blah blah. So we had watched the Jurassic the Fallen Kingdom movie. I actually forgot about the second part of that title until now. But yeah, it's a sequel to the
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. I was gonna say Jurassic Park and then followed up with something I don't remember. But in any case, so it's the follow up to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot of sequels, it's either it's gonna be good or it's just not at all. And this one actually kind of falls in the middle, but moreover to it's not that great. for my in my opinion. I'm not sure about your opinion because we didn't really elaborate too much on it like after watching it.
I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I'd recommend watching like while it's in theaters because I think that's where you get the most out of it. If you choose to just like get it on like what was it, Redbox or just like Netflix it, then it's just one of those things that you'll just like turn on and just kind of leave that in the background. I don't think it's something that you can really get a lot out of watching at home because a lot of the exciting factors of it is the loud screeches of the animals. Like there was some like especially like T-Rex roar that like kind of like shakes whatever vibrating like thing that you're sitting on. So for me it was just like the handles of the theater chair.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. But otherwise for a movie like that type of movie, especially like dinosaur films, it's not something I could like recommend wholly, especially since it's a sequel. That is kind of like, I guess the way for me to compare it would be like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2. It's fun, I guess, but it's not something I'd wholly recommend to people to play. So usually in these scenarios, I would recommend the first one over the second one.
Always.
Especially since like in this movie, I remember that Chris Pratt would be talking to his love interest in this one, saying like we should stick together, for our survival. And it turns out in the sequel, like 3 years have passed and they totally separated because one of them wanted to drive a van and the other one refused it.
He was a bum. He wanted to be a bum.
Like I'm glad that they kind of focused in on a smaller cast of characters. I would say. I'm not sure because it's been a while since I watched Jurassic World.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
Nope.
Wow. Well, essentially, it just kind of follows exactly what was going on. It was that Jurassic World was this theme park, like isolated on an island, and they would just get money off of just like having them as exhibits. And then,
it's a zoo.
Yeah, it's a zoo. And then they made the Indominus Rex for some reason. Once some bad incident occurred and like let all the dinosaurs loose out into the exhibit and thus on the island, a lot of people died, a lot of people evacuated, and then so like everyone just kind of left that island alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know why they why the life forms underwater just kind of staying within the area. Probably most likely because that's where a lot of, their food was anyway. So they were okay with that. But essentially what the government was going to do, as for the plot of this movie, was just to leave that alone and let the volcano that erupted just do its thing and just kill off the remaining things. But you find out that one of our returning characters, Claire, wanted to preserve this life as well as some newcomers, Zia and Edward. Then that's when we get a call from, who was it?
Some senator.
Yeah, some senator or something. Well,
or no, oh, you're talking about okay, that call was just some dude with money.
Yeah, no, but it was the person who invited Claire to the mansion. They kept like
saying
the
dude with money that invited her to the mansion.
Right.
The person that was like the important thing was I can't remember. It was like the person who started Jurassic Park or some shit like that.
I think he's the inheritor, and the grandfather was the actual what was it? Was the actual person who actually started that up.
Mm-hmm.
And so what seemed to be an idea of like, okay, here's how we're going to best like preserve them. Let's move them to an entirely new location.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. There's a particular type of dinosaur that we want to preserve the most because of its high intelligence, and it turned out to be one of those raptors that Chris Pratt's character Owen was training, specifically Blue.
Yes.
And so that's where Owen comes in such that Claire like invites him and pretty much guilt trips him because essentially he was going to give up on the island too. But that was, I guess his drive throughout the entire story, which I think by itself is, I guess it's okay for his character, because he seems like the type of character who doesn't really care much about most of the things, even though like Claire's right there. They were already splitting up, so he already lost his connection with her. But it was Blue that like pushed him to jump on that plane or helicopter over to the island. And so what seemed to be a very like easy round of dinosaurs turned out to be an entirely different idea, where the successor to, I guess, the family line, as well as his hired like ranger group, actually were just going to take these and just sell them off to different countries like for profit.
Yes.
So, and at the same time, they're also developing yet another like related
Indoraptor
species,
another hyper dinosaur,
like derived from the same stuff from the Indominus Rex. Which, by the way, I had to like question the beginning of that like entire like movie, saying that like, hey, whatever was here is probably dead. I'm like, are you sure about that? I wouldn't trust that, like, especially since the Indominus Rex is there, like in bones. And you gotta wonder, like, where is it? Where's that big thing? The T-Rex was kind of like, it's so weird with these dinosaurs because they kind of come out as like the good guys, but they're also bad too. But the T-Rex did put up a good fight against the Indominus, but it took the water creature to like swoop in. But yeah, it was just, I had to question the entire scene. Like, why was that a good idea? Even though like it's been 3 years. It was kind of like the same idea as like why Edward was questioning, like, is the T-Rex alive? Like, with proper handling and like healthcare and everything, like that thing could live for a while. And it's only been 3 years. It's just,
a man can hope and dream that everything is dead.
Edward was our guy. I was very shocked because, like, based on the previous movie, a lot of the cast just died.
Nice.
Which I think was realistic, but in this one they made sure to keep Zia and Edward alive, even though like Blue was like literally right there, ripping people's necks off.
Literally everybody else. My problem with the movie comes from the fact that it followed every don't do this type of like string
scenario.
Of events. Yeah. The biggest one for me, like the biggest offender, was the old man calling in his fucking next in line saying, "Look, I found out you're doing some dirty dealings. Now say you're sorry and turn yourself in." "Oh yes, of course. Let me kill you first." Why would you have that meeting alone against someone who's clearly not out for your best interest?
I think one of them was definitely, well, I can't blame the girl because like that's a natural curiosity for her. Like, she's been like sheltered. She didn't even know about like her origins, which was a very interesting like subplot. I wasn't even expecting something like that. Not that it really had too much impact on like the overall plot, but I think
it had like the biggest impact on the end.
Yeah, so like they try to round it all together. It's because she's a clone.
Blade Runner.
Is that the plot for that one?
Yeah.
It's like he got clones.
And Blade Runner is it takes place on Mars.
Okay.
People have clones and whatnot that they harvest for organs in event of like serious injury or accident. Mm-hmm. And the clones become very self-aware and develop self-preservation. And they start fighting back and like, "I am alive!
Oh, so
you are a failed science experiment! I'm alive!"
And Detroit becomes clone. Got it.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened in this movie. It was, oh no, they're God's creation. They deserve life. No, they're a failed science experiment. Get rid of it.
I can agree to that extent too. Because even though they had shots where you definitely felt some empathy towards like these animals, especially the Stegosaurus when they were leaving the island, like, oh, it just like disappears within the clouds. I felt for that, but they're herbivores and they wouldn't kill people. But at the same time, they would also like affect the ecosystem on the island too. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a toss-up. I did like there was some kind of like moral like strain between like letting them die versus letting them live. But they also are like science experiments that were already extinct or derived from things.
They're a failed science experiment. They're genetically recreated beings.
Right.
That's just like us going into a lab, splicing together some genomes and be like, look, it's life. No, it's a failed science experiment.
Look, I brought Abe back. He was like, how's it going?
80 and many years ago, I was dead.
But I like that sense that it was more of a political struggle, which at some point, like when you try to progress, like in developing the world of like some series, it ends up becoming a lot of politics involved. So I like that about it. I think that was the best way they could handle the scenario there. How they choose to resolve it, though, was definitely like questionable, because at the end of the movie it was definitely just, okay, should we let them live or should we just let them die? And Claire was just having the hardest time because she was the one to decide it, or at least so we thought.
She was the one who was at the button.
Yeah.
And so I was like, look, if you do this, nothing's going to ever be the same. There's no island. They're not separate from everything. They're here. And so she comes to the decision like, I can't do it. I think her morality came from the fact that they've had their chance.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come to the modern ecosystem, there's more that might go extinct because of them being around.
Mm-hmm.
They require a lot more than predators now, so they're going to be eating everything.
And so she just lets go. And then we're like, oh, I guess that's going to go. Beep!
And then in comes Blade Runner.
In come Macy, just like, they deserve a chance just like I did. I'm like, what the fuck?
Shut up, you stupid fucking petri dish.
Like, you little shit.
What'd you wish for, kiddo? A zombie apocalypse.
Little shit. Boop, boop. So yeah, she just let the dinosaurs like into the wild.
You wanna know what's funny? The quote unquote bad guy would have lived had he not brought up the fact that she's a clone.
Yeah, you're right.
Cause she didn't know.
She know.
They didn't know. He brought it up, and then she's like, "Wait, I am them, and them are me.
We're all just one big happy family."
And then she's like,
and she throws,
"Go forth, my brothers."
Does a Barney, you're free. God, that was. I think that's the one thing that really irks me was that last decision, because I understand how she feels, but at the same time, like, look what you just wrought to the world. Because now people have to watch like where they go, and you know, like pterodactyl just like coming in, just like swooping down on people just randomly. That poor lion in the exhibit has no idea what's coming to him.
Right? T-Rex comes, roar! Lion, fuck off!
I'll tell you now, like if they make another sequel, it's gonna start with the T-Rex with like a little lion tail at the, like hanging right here.
You kidding, dog? It's gonna start off with a fat ass lion.
Honey, time for dinner. I'm not hungry. Again? Look, woman, I can't.
I have been eating T-Rex for the past 3 months.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to that idea of like them being good guys and also being bad. Like it's cool that like we have characters
it's
like
all gray area.
Yeah, like we have like Blue, who's super cool because like she's super intelligent, but she did not hesitate to like rip people's necks off. Oh, granted, she had like valid reason to do it if she had any.
A lot of animals that attack have valid reasons to do that. Doesn't mean that they aren't human attacking animals that need to be put down.
Like at the very end, like the bad guy gets eaten by a T-Rex, actually ripped in half, and I was like, yeah. Wait, ooh, oh. Although I think that the pterodactyl is kind of underrated in like how it kills people.
Picked them up and threw them to the ground.
Kind of the same idea as like some eagles or hawks. Yeah, they just like pick them up and just drop them.
Drop the bait.
So yeah, T-Rex definitely just helped clean up the rest of the plot. So now we have Chris Pratt, Claire, and a adopted clone just braving the wilderness. Yeah.
You have man, woman, and science experiment.
And then you have more science experiments like out the front window. Like I don't even know how they'd continue off with that. Like that's the type of movie that I don't even know you can resolve. It's just like it's all different world now. But then again, like, it's still a relatively small population of dinosaurs versus, like, humans and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, if we really want to extinct real quick, like...
So now the government has to be involved. So I guess...
Bring out 9 assault rifles, a shotgun, and maybe a chainsaw.
Probably a chainsaw for that apparently thick skin of the T-Rex.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you put enough rounds in its underbelly, it'll go down.
Yeah, survival mode it. Just
get a gun that shoots hopes and dreams.
I don't know how I feel about the movie at the end of the day. It's definitely one of those entertaining like flicks, definitely. Like visually it's nice, but especially with the bit with Chris Pratt trying to like recover from his like paralysis.
Oh yeah.
He was like
started fucking rolling himself using nothing but leg.
It was great. I think that alone deserves something at the Emmys.
Oh man.
Oh, that was great. But otherwise, this is definitely one of those movies you can pass on. But I mean, like, if you want to watch something like right now in the theaters,
it can very easily be passed on. You miss nothing in culture.
Yeah, it's just kind of the moral of the story kind of speaks for itself. Like, don't do this.
Blade Runners with dinosaurs.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. It's an okay movie. Watch it in the movies if you really want to. But maybe
okay.
But maybe like if it's on Netflix, if you really don't have anything else to watch, then alrighty. But yeah, I guess we could just end it there. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to know more about our discussions and whatnot, please be sure to hit the like button, also subscribe. Just also a subscriber bell button. If you hit that, it'll let you know when we update you guys on videos by the minute, and also support our Patreon. There's also a link to the merch store down below, and that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. #ByEveryone.